Then people, good morning and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show and probably like the 5th, 7th, 6th, I don't know, episode of The Counterpoint. We are here to discuss everything going on at Leeds United. Yes, we'll do that, but before we do that, right, let's discuss the hottest topic in the UK right now. Oasis are back, Connor. Are you surprised? I'm buzzing, mate.
Yeah, buzzing, man. Buzzing. We were just talking about it off air, weren't we? That's why we're about 85 minutes late. But no,
I'm creating the script. I'm creating the script. Don't forget that.
Yeah, the argument script. But yeah, no, it's I'm buzzing for it, mate. I mean, I don't know. They reckon he's going for a divorce, don't they? That's why. He's
really?
decided.
He needs the money.
Yeah, Knowles just rang him up on the blower. Let's get back together. But yeah, mate, one of my favourite bands, as I say, like 90s kid and all that. So yeah, they're always above Blur for me. So yeah, so Oasis time, and it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I think 10 nights in London, 10 nights in Manchester, and hopefully, fingers crossed.
You'll have to come through and stay, mate. Stay at
Yeah. Like, I'd definitely be going for Manchester. It'll be a lot more like the Northern compared to the London crowd. You know what I mean? I'm having a bit of that, me. So I'll dust the bucket hat off and everything, mate. That's it. I'm away.
The only bucket hat I've had was when I went down to Wembley and we got that one. It's a cracking bucket hat. I spent about 20 quid on it, but it was. When Armstrong scored, I threw it. Just absolutely threw it like a fucking frisbee.
Really?
Just got rid of it, and I thought, why did I do that? But I just lost the plot. But it does. You don't really want a reminder, do you, of us getting done by Southampton in the playoff final? So
I don't think I think I might have the Derby scarf. I tell you what, I do have, Connor. I have this still from when we went to Millennium Square. I've still got one of the flares. Do you remember when we went to Millennium Square? I thought one day we'll get promoted. I'll let it off in here like that. I've still got it, man.
He rents that place, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If my landlord's watching, I will not do that. Right, let's get stuck into some Leeds United stuff now. Where do you want to start? I tell you what, let's start with the hottest topic. Everyone's going mad. I predicted it on the final word that this would happen. You've said it many times on videos. Leeds United don't work weekends. Manor Solomon. What do you think's going on first and foremost before we get into whether it's a good signing or not based on footballing ability? But where do you think we're at with it? Are you concerned?
Am I concerned? I think it's because we've had all this stuff before, haven't we? I remember Mickey Cuisance. He had about 15 injuries in 5 years as well. Got to the medical and there was problems there, weren't there, mate? So, to be honest, I'm not really that vexed about the whole thing, Joe. Like if they went out and brought a couple of others in today, I've got no real torch for Manor Solomon. I haven't, to be honest with you. I'm just a little bit like, yeah, all right, we need some bodies in. Of a certain level, but yeah, maybe there's just the whole social media videos. Maybe they've just taken the bank holiday off. I don't really know, but like you've said, mate, I put it out on Twitter earlier on. Leeds the 49ers just don't do things quick, do they? No. We'll be linked to a player on Wednesday, Thursday, and it'll rumble on till the Wednesday, Thursday afterwards, mate. It's just a long process in it, so.
It is. I mean, I'm pretty relaxed about it. I think it'll be announced today, if I'm totally honest. I tell you what's not doing my head in, but what's because I don't understand any of the images that I see. These bloody flight trackers, man. I keep seeing a screenshot of a flight, LBA, and somewhere else, and then I look at it and I go, I genuinely don't know what I'm looking at with them, me. So I just go, I don't know what this fucking means. But any flight that comes into Leeds Bradford Airport is a player. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's come from Kazakhstan. I don't know any Kazakh players or out like that. But yeah, it's definitely not coming to Leeds. But it's like
I got a message from LUFC Connor, I think he's called, and he was like, "Why'd you not shout me out on your stream, bro?" I was like, "Who are you?" And then he just told me like he was the one who announced the news because his mum was down at the airport, and I looked on. He was right, to be fair to him. And
Connor's
I thought, all right,
yeah, brilliant. Oh, raging. Well, there's your opportunity. Give him a shout out.
There you go. Shout out to LUFC Connor. 2 ends, you weirdo.
Class. Right. Okay. Solomon, in your opinion, good signing or not?
50-50. Yeah, 50-50. You can probably tell by my tone on it. Someone said to me the other day, they were like, Connor's just always buzzing with every single signing. I was like, maybe
Well, you've not been buzzing with this, because this is we've got a counterpoint coming up for.
Ooh,
sound the alarm!
Yeah, so I think how I see it, right, is Tottenham have got a player there. They signed him from Fulham. He played last season, I think, like 5 times.
That's right.
And he's missed 33 out of 38 games. Yeah, that's right. So he played 5 times. Did really well. Got 2 assists. I think it was against Burnley in his early point, and then he got injured. Obviously, it's this meniscus problem, which is reoccurring. And he's averaged, I think it was 13. I thought it was more than that, but he's averaged 13 games in 5 years. And I just wonder from a Tottenham Hotspur perspective, if you're thinking, right, we won't get rid of him, but what we'll do is there's a couple of clubs here who are after him on a loan, and we'll send him out on a loan and we'll see how he does injury-wise, and then we'll make an assumption on him in the summer. And I think from a business perspective, it makes sense with regards to Tottenham. But what I will say is Rodon, I believe the time before he came to Leeds, I think he was out in France, wasn't he, Joe? And I think he only played something like 15 games because of his injury he got out there and stuff like that. Came to Leeds and played 50 odd, didn't he? So it doesn't always work like that. I think it's just my worry is where he gets this injury all the time. And Ange was talking about it. I don't know if you saw my video, mate, but screenshotted Ange talking about it in April. And he was saying that they don't know what the issue is. There's problems there. And then a Spurs fan had commented underneath and he said, yeah, it's now been 6 months. This is getting ridiculous now. They just couldn't identify the problem. So I'm looking at it now on the 26th of August and I'm like, I feel like he's a good player, definitely a good player.
So I was going to ask you from a footballing sense, if we take the injury out of it, because for me, like, obviously he's played in the Champions League for Shakhtar Donetsk, yeah? He's then come to Fulham. He scored goals at Fulham. I think he got 5 in 4 or 4 in 4 consecutive games. Obviously, one of them coming against Leeds United. Remember in that FA Cup where he bent that.
Willed it.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Then he's gone to Spurs. Obviously, done well enough at Fulham to get a move to Spurs on a free, and shown flashes at Spurs as well. But again, like you've said, massive injury concerns. But from a footballing sense, for me, Connor, based on the fact Champions League, Premier League, all this. He's far too good for the Championship, I think.
Yeah.
Far too good for the Championship. Like, I spoke to a few Tottenham fans, very predictable, does the same things over and over, etc. But at the Championship, that shouldn't matter. Like, for me, Somerville did the same fucking move. No, he did, though, right?
Yeah,
and he still scored. So there's a big difference in the level that he'll be playing at. So for me, I'm actually really excited by it. Really excited by the player if he stays fit. Like, it's a nightmare if he comes in and he's injured, then we're throwing shade at the 49ers. Do you know what I mean? Even though I'm like, sign him, and then I'll be like, why did you sign him? Why? But yeah,
France.
like, yeah, get them out.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think there's a reason. There's also a positive thing when it comes to him. Him like rejecting Getafe and all that sort of stuff. There might be other reasons why he's done that and wants to come to Leeds, but it feels like it's a good signing. I don't know about you. I'm a little bit like it's maybe I'm looking at it a bit negatively, but Farke
does he start for you, bro?
I don't know. I don't think so. If Willie's on that, I need to call him Nonso. If Nonso's on that left,
do we move Willie in the 10?
Yeah. I said, I've been trying to galvanise that, but everyone keeps telling me that apparently Aronson's better in the 10, which is not. But then what do you do with Aronson? Does he hit the bench? He's had a pretty decent start, and he reminds me a lot. Does he remind you a lot of Dan James a little bit?
Not
bit
for
more.
me, bro.
Does he not? Right.
No, not for me. I think technically his levels. Listen, me and you, I think both agree on Dan James. Like, I almost feel a little bit harsh at this point, but technically I don't think he's great. No. Like, his goal was decent the other day, don't get me wrong, but I think Solomon's above that. I would argue, yeah.
And look at as well, like the other day was a perfect game for Dan James. He's so inconsistent, and it's like, we know on that technical. I mean, I couldn't believe that little Cruyff turn he put off to Aronson. I've never seen James, with the greatest respect, do that. That was class. Technically, the awareness as well. But Dan James throughout that game, what were we seeing, Joe? The ball going out to that right-hand side and putting the balls in every single time they're hitting the first man. He's not getting his head up. It's one of those things with Dan James where if he was consistent, really, really consistent, it'd be an out-and-out Premier League
100%,
player.
100%.
And I guess that's the level we're at, mate. We can't have players with the full package, and maybe Solomon is the full package, barring an awful injury record. However, I would say we are now stacked on that left-hand side. When you look at all the profiles we've got, and I'd say maybe on that right-hand side in terms of quality, I'm a little bit more worried. If we were to get Solomon done and then 3 or 4 others, then fine. I mean, does it not worry you a little bit that Farke literally said in the press conference he wants permanent signings and permanent signings only? Like, is that?
I don't think you can turn the option of Solomon down. I think that's probably why. Because even if you look after the game, when he was asked about a player coming in, it's the first time we've seen him get a little bit giddy when he went, yes, there will be. And he started smiling, and I thought, he's aware, Solomon. He's around. Here's a quick question for you, though. On that, the attackers, Ramazani, Solomon, if he comes in, he said, we'll get 2 attackers. Now, I think, and a couple of lads agreed with me on the final word, I don't think we get a 10 now. I think that's the attack sorted with James, Ramazani, Nonto, Aronson, Pirro, Solomon. Yeah, I think that's your lot. I don't think he gets a 10, and I want to get your thoughts on whether or not that's wise, because if he is going to play Nonto, Aronson, Pirro also goes in there. You've got Ramazani, you've got Solomon, you've got James who can play on the right. To be fair, all our wingers, Connor, can probably play on the other side. Yeah. Okay, not as good as, but even James comes out on the left sometimes, doesn't he? We've seen him score goals from the left. So I think when he mentioned 2 attackers, that's your lot. He gets the 8, he gets the left back cover, and that's us done. Is that wise? Do you agree? Or
I think maybe there's still something. Jonathan Brooks said that there. I think there's still something in that Roland Salai. I think there's got to be something in that. There's too much of it from the Hungarian side, I think. I mean, it could be agent talk, of course it could, but YEP reported it as a pretty good source as well. Yeah. I just wonder. I mean, that'd be a top sign, especially for a right-sided player who can play attacking midfield as well. For me, Joe, that would be with Rutter going out and you kind of moving Willie into that 10, and then I just think to myself, Willie Johnson didn't have the best injury record, and he hasn't got the best injury record. Last season he was out for a portion of time, inconsistencies, and Solomon, as I keep saying, mate, look, we can talk about his ability, but he's played 15 times on average in 5 years, 13 to 15 times. Are we leaving ourselves short there, in terms of let's say if you had some of these, let's say Solomon or a Nonto was injured for a critical game where you're having to break down a low block, where's that creativity coming from? And I just think someone like an Elias Share, I mean, we always say it all the time, don't we? But he's perfect, mate. He is perfect. And I just feel they'd miss a little bit if they did that, and it wouldn't. Would you be satisfied with that as a window, and obviously fullback cover? And I don't know. I think it's the Rutter and Somerville. The Rutter and this is what I was worried about with the Sheffield Wednesday result. I was worried about maybe fans just completely siphoning off what we actually need and what we've actually lost, and us having another 45 games after the season. It's not me saying they're not good enough, but is there enough up there to be able to get us into that top 2? I don't know, because we've got to factor in that injury stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a fair conversation to have. Now, I don't know if you've seen yesterday the guy who deleted the tweet about the deal being done for Manor Solomon, and which set everyone's tongues wagging. Well, he's just given us an update 7 minutes ago to say the move to Leeds United is not certain. Solomon has completed the medical, but there are quite significant financial differences between the clubs. Talks continue between the parties. The players' camp also does not rule out additional options before the window closes. I actually received, and I know someone else in the content creation sphere also received a similar message from a different source saying something about these financial difficulties, and everything was cool, but it almost feels like, and I'd read, someone said it's common practice that maybe when Leeds do their medical, they say, oh, we've picked up this, to then go back and maybe re-engineer the deal that suits them. It might be a little bit of skullduggery going on between both parties to maybe get it lowered. Listen, this is a guy yesterday who said it was done, then deleted his tweet, which obviously sent tongues wagging. He's now give us that update. Yeah, it's not great, that, is it?
It's not, mate, because let's say if there is, I mean, we know what Levy's like, though. He is, we think the 49ers are scrupulous and good when it comes to money haggling. Levy's on a different level. So you wonder if there's going to be a clause in there, Joe. I mean, we can't forget, we spent £1 million on Jed Spence for about 2 months and 7 appearances. £1 million. That's what Levy got out of Leeds, and we sent him back in January, or he went back, whatever. But maybe Leeds are trying to negotiate, but he's a nightmare to deal with. He's one of the worst people to deal with in football. So maybe that. What does that maybe say to you, that they might have picked something up in the medical where they think, not sure on this. Maybe it is the meniscus. Maybe it's that again, and we're thinking, is it worth this? And then Levy's saying on top of that, you got £1 million to pay, and Leeds are trying to siphon it down. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what might be going on. I still want the deal done, but like a lot of the chat are saying, just move on, because the window shuts on Friday, bro.
But is that why you want the? But is that why you want the deal done? Because
no, I actually no, it's not that. Like, because I'm not in the bit like you said. I'm not going to allow myself to get giddy with results, or get giddy that we're getting players in. Like, if you brought me, like I actually said, people were saying, well, what about? Here's an example, Sami Ento last week. I said, not a cat in hell's chance. However, now if we were to get Solomon, Ramazani, and then I go, yeah, I'd be happy with Sami Ento because he'd sit on the bench. I'm happy with him as an option. What I don't want is, say, a deal. I think Solomon starts and would do well for Leeds United if he stays fit. What I don't want is, I wouldn't then go, we'll just go get Aronson. Anthony, go get Anthony. Just bring in a body. I don't want any of that, and I will criticise that, mate, 100%. Like, I'm very, very critical about this ownership. Which actually, bro, I watched your reaction. I feel like we're in two camps, me and you. Like, I'm pro Farke, you're pro 49ers, and whenever the conversation comes up, where for you, mate? Who, like, let's say, for example, if Leeds United had lost on Friday, where you at then? Would you have been saying, it's game over, Farke, you're doing me tits in, it's time to go?
I wish I had an answer for you, which is like straightforward, because I think you want me to turn around here and just go, I
don't want you to do anything, bro. I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you to go, yes, I'm 49ers. Sorry, Farke out or whatever.
What I would say is, I think, if people have been watching my streams very recently, I'd say I have been a lot more critical of them. But what I would say is, whatever we've done right now, it's hard because you just can't. If they pull, I keep saying this on streams, if they pull 4 rabbits out of the hat, like Ramazani, I couldn't believe we'd done that. I genuinely couldn't believe that. I was like, what the, like, I literally remember Romano tweeting out last season that Everton couldn't get it done, that they were looking at 35, 40 million. And I was like, Jesus, Everton spending some money. And then Leeds getting for what? 11 million all in, and euros. And I'm like, what on earth? Anyway, so I look at that and I think, right, okay, that's a good indication. You're talking about Solomon right there, and you'd be happy with that. Like, as in, that's a really good championship signing.
For me, huge.
So that's, if they get that done, it's like, Jesus, that's 2 really, really good signs, and they've still got 2 or potentially 3 more to go. So I look at that. I cannot help the fact that, and everybody saw what Wednesday were like, and I think Wednesday will do well this season, a lot better than people expect, but everybody knew that Leeds side, I didn't even think we were at Pomp, by the way. I thought we were 6 out of 10 on Friday. I thought we weren't even, but we could go up decibels if we wanted to. It was easy. It was one of the easiest games I've watched Leeds play in a long time. We just took the candy away from them and they couldn't get it back off us. And I just thought to myself, that's how it should have been, no matter what. So if we'd have lost the game, of which I did think old DF had his excuses lined up, I would have been looking at it and I'd have been thinking, yeah, it is his fault. It is his fault for that one, because it's 11 versus 11 on a football pitch, and our 11 is 2 or 3 levels better than their 11. So I know we've not done stuff. He'll blame the mentality and the atmosphere going on at the minute. It's negative, and the Middlesbrough's a result, blah blah blah. But ultimately, we're a much better side than them, Joe. So I base it 11 v 11, mate.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I know that's what you were saying in terms of, like, look, we should be beating these. My head was saying draw. My heart was saying we win 2-0. And obviously we did do that, which I was buzzing with. I look at the two games now in isolation, and I know people don't agree with me, like, say, you know, we still had no attacking output at West Brom, so therefore, you know, it was still really bad. But I look at them two games now and say, do you know what? He's done us a good turn there in terms of going to West Brom, getting a point, then going to Sheff Wednesday. And I felt the game would be very transitional, and you're right, their level of quality was just nowhere near ours, especially when you consider passing out from the back and that they were all over the shop. Yeah. We've got decent footballers, you know, with Rodon and Strauch being able to do that. For Ampadu was good. So I actually think them two results now, 5 points on the board, 6 in the league, we've not even got started, Connor. I think actually, with hindsight, it's all right.
Yeah, I think it helps what's happening with Burnley right now, doesn't it, Joe? Them just getting absolutely stripped, and obviously they're mentioning them looking at obviously Sunderland beating them at the weekend. So, and then Sunderland getting stripped with Jack Clark as well. To be fair to him, it's a good win. But yeah, I think...
look at Luton, bro. Luton are in relegation zone, I think, aren't they?
Do you know what? I didn't even see that result. What score was that?
They got beat again. Did they? 1 second. Jesus. Yeah, they're having a stinker start, mate. Let me just have a look now.
Yeah. Luton, yeah. I honestly...
Yeah, they're 23rd, bro. They got 1 point. 1 point.
What was the score at the weekend? I'll have a little... I can have a look if you want.
1-0 Preston, against Preston.
That's minging.
They drew against Portsmouth and then lost to Burnley 4-1. So that's 3 really bad results.
Yeah, that's minging. Yeah. So when you look at that, I mean, Andy said Pompey fluke's a point away versus top 6 favourites, easy away derby. The results are totally fine. Yeah, I think you can look at it now in hindsight, and you can look at it and go, I thought we could have beaten West Brom. You know that. I thought we could have gone. We could have gone and took it.
We were bad in attack, and maybe even just switching out Pirro for Aronson might have actually improved that, because Pirro just couldn't make the ball stick at all.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I still think Sheffield United are going to be really dangerous. I do. I know Carlos has said what he said, but I just feel like they're going to get into the stride at some point, especially with Hamface as manager. And
Did you see him stoking up the fire this week again?
He needs us, Joe. He needs us.
I said that.
The best parts of his career are when Leeds are involved. He loves us being in that division. I can't stand the bloke.
I said, I was going to people like, don't get pulled in, because we got pulled in last time, and he ended up winning.
Me, Joe. He
ended up winning though, didn't he? When obviously he called us Muppets and he mentioned Bamford and all that, and you're going... I mean, we all remember that Basham goal. It was like a fucking dagger to the heart, man.
That's top 3. That's top 3 worst moments of the Bielsa
because it
period,
was raining and the way he celebrated and everything. It was brutal. I tell you, mate, talk to me about how good Ilya Gruev was on Friday. We've got to talk about it. Because for me.
Yeah.
I thought he was great, mate. I thought both of them were. I thought they dovetailed really nicely. Obviously, the team performance was great, but I was so impressed with Gruev, and I know you're not his biggest fan. So, what did you make to his performance?
Yeah. He was good, getting forward a little bit more. I thought the second half again, he reverted back again, but I like what he was doing. He was more positive. He was more. I've always said this with him. I said when it's going good. When it's going good with Leeds, and obviously, look, he dictated the flow of it as well. You know, he has to do that as a midfield player. But I always think when it's going well and the team are performing really, really well, and he's part of that, of course, I think he performs. I think the only issue with him is when it's backs against the walls and he sort of becomes a little bit safe. And yeah, I think in the bad games with Gruev, when Leeds are not performing, I think he's always one of the worst players. But I thought at the on Friday, he was getting forward a lot more. He was his pass percentage must have been through the roof, and I know it's not indicative, is it, Joe? But no. I have to be honest, still looked at Ampadu and thought he was the better midfielder. But yeah, Gruev
well, what about this take? Because I feel like this is straight out of your playbook. This,
yes, I love it.
But yeah, like Rothwell talked, I'm still, mate. I've seen a little flash here and there, but I'm still like, but I guess we can't judge him on 5 minutes, can we? But would you still look to change that, having seen the performance at the weekend against Hull, where the impetus is going to be on Leeds again? We're at home. Hull haven't started great. I think they've got 3 draws out of 3. They're bringing in Liam Cooper by the looks of it as well. So
you're going to switch clubs.
Fuck that, man. I'll be going, he's League One. He's League One.
Brownie's already a Borough fan.
I watched Brownie, man, when you did the thing the other day. Oh, man, I think he's brilliant. But yeah, Rothwell, what do you think? He's coming as the sub, and it's clear now. We're probably not going to see a lot of him, Connor. Much to your detriment, I think.
I just hope he don't go back in Jan. I really hope. I hope something like that doesn't turn around. Then he goes out to another champ club, which wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me that. He seems like an Anthony, doesn't he? And Anthony seems like that sort of player who's going to be involved maybe every now and again, and he's going to get you 2, 3, 4 minutes. And that's up to the manager. I think Rothwell is a better player than Gruev, but it's one of those things, Matt. I mean, I've heard all this Phil Billing chat. I can see Alfie's put it in there. You bring Phil Billing in, and you might as well pack Rothwell's bags because he's not going to be getting in. But it depends if they put him in a double pivot. Do
you think we can get Billing, mate?
Oh, mate.
I mean, he'd be class. He'd be class. Yeah, but
that's a signing. That is a sign. If you go get Phil Billing. That's a league-winning signing. That is. We're not even talking 6 or 2. Phil Billing would be, if they were to go and do that, you'd be thinking that's a sign in the window by a country mile. That would be. And I'd take him on loan. I'd take him in any capacity. I'll go to Bournemouth and pick him up. What a player!
Yeah, great player. Not in the squad, but I just feel that he'll go somewhere in the Premier League potentially, Connor.
That's what we need, though, isn't it, Joe? If you get these cast-offs,
100%, yeah.
You get these cast-offs, and maybe that's what they've been waiting for. Obviously Ramazani a little bit different, but Solomon, you look at him and you think, have they just been waiting for these cast-offs? Spurs maybe saying, we didn't want to let him go, want to help him with his rehab, but now we'll let him go, and we want to see him out on loan. I think that's what a lot of them work from. Maybe that's what the 49ers have been looking at. I still think they've left it way too late. But could you see that have been a strategy? We're speaking about the 25-man squads and who's been involved and who's been left out. I wonder if they've been waiting for a gauge on that. They must have been.
Yeah. I mean, with me, I'm fucking bipolar, Joe. Flip-flop and all that jazz. That's what I get thrown at me all the time. But like you've said, I know, like I've been very, very critical of the 49ers, and it'll always sting for me because of the Gray situation, losing Rutter, the Cree situation, all that sort of stuff. It stinks, but if they do pull the rabbits out of the hat, like you've mentioned, you've got to hold your hands up, haven't you?
Yeah.
And say they got it right.
I hate the social media thing. They've got to stop doing that. When we lose a player and they just say, Crysencio Somerville has left the club. He left it, thanks for his services, and that's it.
We tried everything.
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. You look at Almeria's stuff with Ramazani, and you look at it, just unbelievable. Like that's a really
Well, how do you feel on the Cooper stuff, bro?
Yeah, because
that's bad.
It is bad. It was, but we didn't really hear anything of Ayling, did we? When Ayling moved on, even it was. Do you remember anything with Dallas? Like I know Dallas had the injury and stuff, but was there anything
just
proper there?
Just the video where he got upset, him and Cooper at the front. I think the Ayling one they did a nice picture, but yeah,
I think the social media team, it's like when we sign a player as well. We sign a player and you'd kind of like us to do maybe a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
I thought the response to the Rutter thing with that was shit, if I'm being honest.
What was that? I can't go on. Tell me.
Where the club put a laptop up saying marching on together, and I just thought, that should have been saved for when we get a player off Brighton or something. Did you not see it when we?
Do you know? I didn't spot that. I saw the image, but I didn't actually add one together.
It was a laptop, but he wasn't in it, and it just had no relevance. I thought it was poor anyway, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, fucking where were we? Yeah, on the 49ers, just on the rabbit on the hat and all that. But do you not think, though, Connor, like for me, got
a busy week, me and you, haven't we? Jesus.
Very busy, very busy. I'm here for it, bro. I'm here for it. When you, and I know you're reticent to criticise yet till the window's shut, and that's totally fine. That's some people's opinion, even in my chat, who come on and say you can't judge until the window. But do you not think, like, saying that we can control the narrative on bids and then a release clause for Somerville? It's like, well, you can't have controlled that because there was a release clause,
My big issue's been the Rutter thing, the Archie Gray deal. They're involved in both of those, and that's that. to not know anything about it and to try persuade. They evidently didn't expect that bid to come in from Brighton, but Brighton had come in twice before. Brighton had come in twice before, so they knew they were there. Surely there was conversation between them and Brighton throughout, and it was funny, wasn't it, Joe? Because we all thought it was O'Reilly or Rutter. They're about to do them both. They're about to do them both. What a club, mate! Imagine if that was us. It'd be brilliant. But
they spent a lot of money, haven't they, this summer? Spent a lot of money,
200 million-ish in it and more. But
Rutter's cameo was class, by the way. You see when he did Dallo when he came inside and all that, I was like, good. But how do you feel about him doing the all "let's go" and the way with the Brighton fans? I was like, what are you doing, man? I thought that was just for us.
And he's done that on himself. You could see the Brighton players even, when he was doing the way. Brighton players like, geez, this guy's got a bit about him, hasn't he? But he was clearly a massive personality as well. I thought the reaction of us on Friday night, we obviously have to talk about that as well. The reaction. Leeds were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant, and it was back to maybe. Do you know what, Joe? Back to Millwall, or when we beat Sheffield Wednesday. Because I think it was
that
Sheffield
first goal was so good, wasn't it? With the first goal, the interchanges was just amazing.
Banning that little gnome. It's like they were completely. He didn't know what to do, did they? They were completely out of sort.
And that Ingelsson as well in midfield's been great, since he came in. And
he looks like, I liked him. I think he's built for the championship, isn't he? But I wonder. They came out against us. I thought they were playing out from the back, but they were trying to get at Leeds, and West Bromwich Albion didn't do that. And I wonder how we're going to do coming up against that low block again, which is the constant conversation. I wonder if we've kind of still got that lock picker naturally in that side. I think it's Nonto for a certain part of it. Can he stay fit or whatever? But I mean, someone like an Elias Chair or that profile just suits us perfectly. That style of player, I think.
So if we go back to the game then, because we do jump around, how impressed were you with like Mateo Joseph, bro? I think he's going up against Dominic Iorfa, for example, who's a championship bastard, if you like.
Monster,
Mountain, monster, and so was Bernard on the left centre back. So started off, I was thinking, it's going to be a tough afternoon for him, and then by the end, Iorfa was turning it in, man. He was on the deck. I'm done in. I thought Joseph was class, and his movement for the pass from Nonto that led to the first goal was quality, man. I thought he was brilliant.
It really started to I can swear, can't he? Sworn a couple of times, but it really started to piss me off when everyone started to get at him after West Bromwich Albion. But me and you said that he didn't go. The Leeds didn't go there to win. So how can you might as well have put Rothwell up front. You might as well have put Verber up front, because there was nothing that Leeds were doing up top. It was hoofball. You had Bartley, you had Ajayi, and they just gobbled him up, and he couldn't do anything. So I think like when you set up like that, it's always going to harm that sole striker naturally. I thought he was physical. I thought he was all over him. I thought he got his body in perfectly, Joe. And even when you're the taller man, he'd get his body in. The ball would bounce off him. He got a Firpo. Leeds have to be really good on the second balls there, by the way. And they were really good on the second balls. They were in around Joseph. They knew he was going to hold the ball up well. And I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. That second ball as well. The weight of the pass, of which we sort of criticize. Well, I do. I criticize some Leeds players a lot when it comes to the weight of the pass. It's just,
5-yard pass.
Aronson did it.
Should get a T-shirt with that on, I
think. Man, Aronson did it in the first half, and I lost my mind. But it's just, playing it in front of the man, playing it with the right weight of pass, so it's easy for them to, sort of get it in the stride and get a shot off or whatever. I just think it's so important in football. But Joe, I remember was brilliant at that. Olivier Dacour, just what a player, what a weight of pass. But really good, really physical. He just needs that goal lashed at that other one, didn't he?
He's done that a couple of times, now. He's putting too much on it. He's like he's that desperate to smash the net that he's trying too hard, I think.
Yeah. But Joe, what about the touch to get him that space?
Exactly. Yeah. It was class.
Inside of the leg, gives him a yard, and that's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did against Pompey. He gave himself the yard with that touch, and he's just need to caress it in, don't you? And he's whacking it, but I love his.
If that hits the net, it's taking the roof of the net off, innit? It's one of them. Oh my God! But it's just like. Just get it in the net. P-roll it if you have to. Stop smashing it. Do you know what I mean?
And he's a shithouse, isn't he? He's an absolute shithouse, and I love that. He'll go down, and a lot of Leeds fans will say, "Well, we don't want that." Well, everybody else does that against us. He goes down, he holds his foot, and he tell you what, if Aronson hadn't put that in, I wonder with Simon Hooper of how atrocious he was that night. But that was a stonewall penalty. I offered tackle on him, so I wonder if that had been given.
Yeah. Do you know what as well? He is like where, again, we have to look to the board. If he continues this, you get him a new fucking deal out, a new contract out. If you want to put a release clause in, you put it for a hell of a lot of money. And do you know what I mean, though, bro? This is where we have to future-proof, right? Because
and Brighton are a sort of club who'd come in for him.
100%. There'll be a lot of clubs looking at him, especially with him getting, he's played for England, then he switches over to Spain. They wanted him to go to the Olympics, of course, but obviously Leeds said no, which I'm so glad he's made that decision, and that's not kicked up any fuss. And he looks, every bit the top player, I've seen even the second tier, which they very rarely throw praise Leeds United's way. They like to criticise to get the clicks, but they put a picture of Del Piero and said Mateo Joseph tonight, but which again will do the clicks. Yeah. But yeah, that's another one where you go, right, let's get him a new contract out and stick because you don't want him going for next to nothing, do you?
Nah, I'm just glad the Bamford chat stopped when it's come to him and Joseph. I had a couple of people on my chat saying I'd be putting Bamford in and Joseph out. He was terrible against West Brom. I nearly quit the YouTube channel then. But yeah, mate. So it's we've just got to stick by him. We all stuck by Archie Gray, didn't we? There should be no just because his name's Gray and his name's Joseph. Yeah. We should be sticking by Joseph and I'm fully in with him, mate. If he didn't score for the next 2 or 3 games, but had performances like that, and we were able to muster up, goals from other positions, I'd be fine with that. One thing we've got to talk about, mate, is these corners. And that's why Gruev sends me on another level. He sends me to Mars. Why can't we beat the first man, Joe? Why can't we beat the first man? 112 corners, and then we last scored a goal. Why can't Joe Rodon get ahead of Joe? Why is it always Strauk or nothing? I don't understand it.
Always Strauk. It's mad. Strauk's very good in the air as well. Like he scores. Well, I actually say he's not good in the air. He's great at movement that allows him to get on the end of the ball. Like I said, get it in the because a lot of his goals from like set plays have come when the ball's on the ground. It's like find him, but make sure you've got it on the ground, and he might score it. But when was the last time Leeds United were actually good at corners? Because even under Bielsa, I can't remember us being good at them, mate.
Did we? Was it the Somerville goal against Watford where he cut inside and put it in the top corner? Was that from a corner? Was it from like a short corner? I can't remember for the life of me, but I genuinely have no idea when we last scored from them. But yeah, you're right. Bielsa, that entire period, there was no point in us taking corners. It was
defending them. Fucking, I remember when West Ham scored 3 from a corner. Every time we got a corner, I went put it on the centre circle. We're conceding.
But yeah. Jason, I don't hate any Leeds player, mate. I don't hate as long as you're putting on that white shirt. It's a strong word. Yeah, I also don't dislike him. I just think there's better options. But I just think that corner. I mean, James will have one, Gruev will have one, and we can't sort it out, can we? But I was saying to my old man the other day, I was saying that last time we were good at corners was when we had, you'd have like Dakar in the box, you'd have Bartley, you'd have Janssen, you'd have Bridcut on the edge, good and you'd point. Yeah, exactly. It was Monk, wasn't it? Gary Monk when we were exceptional at corners.
Chris Wood, do you remember?
Wood as well. Yeah, we had monsters, didn't we, in that team? So, true. Yeah.
I always remember that Brighton goal, Wood, when it gets crossed and he just fucking meets it.
Brilliant. The noise as well. Yeah, I remember we were having the chat the other day because we were talking about goal. Believe it or not, me and my dad were talking about goalkeepers and we were having a rant about Melier for about 15
So we need to talk about Mez then as well, don't we? Actually.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about the last time we had like steady hands in there. Someone who's reliable. And we said, me and my dad said, Rob Green, wasn't it?
It was, Rob Green that season.
He just wasn't with us for long enough, was he? When you had Green,
think he moved. Didn't he go sit on the bench in the Prem after one season with us?
Yeah. It was. I think it was West Ham, wasn't it? But there was Green, Charlie Taylor, Kyle Bartley, Janssen, and then Blue Kaelin had just come in. It was a proper defence, wasn't it? Quality defence.
It was. Yeah. I remember actually. I went to Birmingham with Oscar and Claudio, and we went and watched. No, that wouldn't have been. That was against Gary Monk's Birmingham, actually. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. Sorry, it was when Bielsa and Gary Monk and Shea Adams beat us 1-0. Yeah, I remember. But
he had a good record against us, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did, mate. But let's talk about the goalkeeper because yes, clean sheet. Yes, most clean sheets in the Championship and all this sort of stuff. But what were some of the decisions? Listen, I don't mind a punch when you're crowded, and I genuinely feel it's a tactic deployed by the manager because he does it that often that by now, surely he would have caught some. I think he does it. But that one, that one that was like no one round him and he decided to Superman fly and punch it for a throw-in, I was like, what are you doing? Like, genuinely, what was he doing in that situation, bro?
I've never seen anything like him. He's like not even mental in a good way. Like sorry, mate. He's so below average. He's below average, Joe. He is just. I can't get my head around it. Look, support every Leeds player, of course I do, but he's going to cost us more points, and that's why I think it's really imperative that we get a goalkeeper, especially when you got Kyle Rushworth, man, who's available on loan. Brighton have said we built up a good relationship with them and Rutter. Get him in on loan. Get bin off Darlow.
Do you think
it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But Darlow and Cairns in behind him are never going to. There's no competition there, is there? There's no competition whatsoever. So it's every single week he's doing what he's doing, and then he's going to get clean sheet. But I think that's to do with the unit. Do you know what we do? You know it's bad. It's bad, Joe, when you get in the fan base clapping when he catches a ball. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I once said he would play in the Champions League, for a top club.
But I don't think it was. At
that time, though, he was amazing, wasn't he? Remember when he first came in, bro? Against Arsenal, and he was pinging them left and right, and I was going, "Oh, is this guy, man? Mate. He was sick."
I know. And so Imovic just said he's not below average. How ridiculous! He was below average last season, mate. When he was bottom 10 goalkeepers for save percentage, and what was the other one, Joe? It was save and XG, wasn't it? It was save and XG. He was on like minus 5.6 or something at the end of last season. So those metrics, he's bottom 10. So it's unfortunately with him. That's the problem with me. Like, people are saying, fullback's more important and this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah, but if you've got a goalkeeper and potentially he's going to cost you like 9 to 12 points or whatever in a season, that's more important, and that's the rear guard. And did you see it when like Strauch was in the game? Because I know you're doing the watch wrong. Strauch turned around to him when he did that, and he just looked at him, and he's like,
"It's like, what are you doing?" I think we're supposed to come for the ball or something. I can't. Yeah, I remember.
And Joe, did you see it as well when? Did you see it as well when they had a free kick, and Rodon turned round to him, and it was either a corner or a free, and Rodon turned round to him and went, "Come on, Elan, come on," like that. And I'm like, my God, they're giving him a pep talk. They're all worried. Wow. They're all worried, like about him being. It's like, come on, come on, Elan, come on. It's
you
like,
can do it. You can.
You can do it.
But no, if we are being critical, you could argue he cost us points in the opening day because he saves that first chance, they probably don't come into it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's still, whatever the score, I think 1-0 at that time. Yeah, they still might have got some, but that first shot that they took should not have gone in. Not have gone in at the near post. Definitely not.
You're giving him credit there, mate. Near post, it was straight at him on it, and his hand. I don't know what his hand was doing. Just popping on wrists again.
Hands.
French hologram. Polo mint. It's you know what I mean? Sorry. It's one of those things. It's one of those things where look, I get people are getting frustrated in the chat, and I understand.
I can see.
That.
Oh my days,
I ain't got a clue.
I'm over it, bro. Genuinely, he should have saved that first chance. I think you know that. Surely we're saying that. I know we're being critical, and you might not like it, but I do think. And listen, you're right in what you said earlier. There is time for him to grow. He's nowhere near his prime. Goalkeepers don't hit the prime to the bloody. In the 40s these days, man, it's mad. Footballers are getting older, not younger, you know.
But like you said, one of the first critical moments this season. We've only had how many league games it now, Joe? What, three? Yeah. And one. He's already got one major error in there as well. Yeah. One major error in there. So we'll wait and see for the full season. But like you've quite rightly said, Joe, that first Pompey, and there's loads of other varying factors. But the problem is with Melee, we see this every single season, don't we? So.
Yeah, and I think this is a good because people do this on my channel as well. Like I know I'm not like I think Joe Blackburn's, and I'm not sending shots at Joe, but I know Joe Blackburn says, yeah, but there's plenty of errors before, which I get, of course. But when it comes to the keeper, regardless of if Bogle's missed a challenge or Rodon's made an error when he's tried to pass it out from the back, that's what the keeper's there for, the last line of defence. Okay, yes, you've made an error, but I'm going to now make sure... Like, look at, David Raya. I mean, we can't compare, but like when he's... did you see that Watkins double save, man?
Unbelievable.
My God.
Unbelievable.
Crazy stuff. Yeah,
I get what people are saying with that, but it's also just a complete there's a reason for a goalkeeper. The goalkeepers are supposed to save you points every single season, and that's why we see stuff like Hermansen last season where he was good for them, wasn't he? I mean, the only games probably where he was pretty poor was maybe against us. But
Hladaki as well. I remember Hladaki in one of the games at the end of the season made some wild. I think it was Middlesbrough. I remember watching the game thinking, how the fuck has he kept them out?
Yeah, and a lot of the time as well, you can't. You've got to rely on your goalkeeper. If there's mistakes outfield, that's why they'd always go on about Schmeichel, wouldn't they? It's why we'd always go on about Nigel Martin. You might get through an unbelievable rear guard. Let's say Rio, Woodgate, Gary Kelly, Ian Hart, whatever, Backer or whatever in front of him, and you might get through that. But then you've made a mistake. But that's where your goalkeeper's got to come in. Your goalkeeper's got to make that save. Do you know what I mean? We can always blame everything what happens out front, but then what's the point in even having a goalkeeper and having any criticism towards him because it's everyone else's fault before him. The goalkeeper's there to do a job, keep the ball out the back of the net.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we've got a massive 5 days. The window shuts on Friday. How do you see it going, mate? Where's your head at with it? Because I'm actually, considering where I was at last week, I'm actually relaxed. Like I was telling people yesterday, getting messages, I'm going, calm down on the Solomon deal. It's Sunday, it'll get done. Calm down. It's mad because last week I'm going, what they fucking doing?
Is that Ramazani in the Chef Wed window?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. If you win games of football and you bring me players, I'm going to be relaxed. 100%. Like, unfortunately, football dictates my mood, right? So if we'd have lost on front, I'd be in the bin again. But ultimately, we won, and we won well. Yeah, you can say Chef Wednesday are poor or whatever, but we won and we won well, and we brought in Ramazani. There's still a lot more to be done, and I think we get 3, and that'll be Solomon or someone else, centre midfielder, and Bro, every time we walk away from Lubicic, he puts in a fucking barnstormer. Did you see he scored 2 goals again the other night?
Scored 2, didn't he? Yeah.
So we need an 8. We need another attacker, and we need a left back. Do you envisage and see that getting done?
I don't think Solomon gets done. It's gone on for too. Yeah, it's gone on for too long. It's gone on for too long. I think there's going to be some problems with that, evidently. So yeah, I think there's 3 more. Yeah, and to be super critical, I'd want another one. But yeah, I think it's.
What about a 9?
Yeah, 100%.
He's already said Bamford's out for Hull. So
is he out for Hull? I can't say what this guy, man. I can't say it. I'll have to go and sit in a quiet room and shout about Bamford. He's out for Hull as well. Unbelievable. It just winds me up so much. Like, guy gets a wage from us, he's never available. But anyway, I'd have loved Jefferson, to be honest, Joe. I think that'd have been a nice one. We mentioned that earlier on.
He came on yesterday, but like you say, he'll be available, I'd imagine.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I think he sees Perot in there, doesn't he? He sees Perot as maybe like a replacement number 9. But then again, you didn't see. Was it the Portsmouth game where he brought Bamford on as a substitute for Mateo Joseph? You maybe if he saw Perot up there, you'd have probably maybe put Perot up there, brought Aaronson in the 10 or Willie in the 10. But he didn't do that, did he? So yeah, I agree, Joe. I think I'd go out and get a 9. I think they've got to get a 9. But this is the thing. I think that impact of Somerville and Rutter, everybody thinks it's player for player. I think there's an argument that it's 2 players and 2 players. I just think the impact of those 2 is so big. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you make to Aaronson? Obviously, he's Leeds United's top scorer now. 2 goals.
Yeah.
JT put it to me, and he's wild as JT. But he said 15 to 20 goals. What do you reckon?
15 to 20 goals?
Yeah, I thought it was wild. Like, I can't lie.
It's a mad comment. That is mental. Does he even play 20 games? Like, does he start 20 games? Like, I don't like 15 to 20 goals.
Yeah, I know. I was the same, bro. But I was the same. I can't lie. But yeah, he started well. I don't think he'll get 15, by the way. But he started well, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, and I think he knows as well. You saw the interview, didn't you, with him after the game? And I think he knows he's still got a way to go. Yeah, he's still got a way to go. I don't look at him now and I think, oh my God, Aronson's so different. There's a new Aronson here. I just think it's probably he's at a worse standard, isn't he? So he's going to get more opportunity and stuff like that. But I still think he still runs with his head down, doesn't he? His decision making can sometimes be a bit off, as we mentioned before. His weight of pass isn't isn't amazing. But yeah, he's had a good start, mate. He's had and you look, listen, long may it continue. But yeah, 15, 20 goals is mental.
Yeah, it is. I think so as well, mate.
How many's Joseph going to score then if Aaronson's getting 15 to 20?
Yeah, well, he needs to score one first, doesn't he? He needs to score one first, I tell you. But I'm buzzing for Aronson. I can't lie. I'm well happy for him, and it was good. He took the finish really well, and that's the difference between him and Pirot as well, Connor. Because Pirot's not even there to feed on them scraps that Joseph. I don't think he's there, is he?
I'm really sad. I'm sad about him. I'm sad about him.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I am sad about him.
But I'm not saying he's a bad player, by the way.
No.
He just doesn't fit what we... And that, again, is a criticism on recruitment, by the way. Whoever signed off on the decision to bring him in, when so many people said he doesn't fit, then, it is a criticism there. Or do you criticise Farke for not getting the best out of him? Because I have said, how can you take a player who was championship top scorer, scored 30-plus goals over how many, or maybe even more, 40 over 3 seasons, whatever, into a player that... can't turn for toffee. His touch has gone. There's zero confidence in the player, is there really? When we watch him play, he's shot, I think.
Yeah. And I think as well, like what we've got to know is, when those mad minutes were happening with Portsmouth, they were coming out a little bit against us, weren't they? They were trying to get back in the game. And I think Aronson got a lot more space there. Alongside that, you also had the Sheffield Wednesday game where they were coming at us a little bit more, Joe, and we had a little bit more space, which I think helped Aronson and James. I think, against a West Bromwich Albion, Aronson, I don't even actually know if he came on. But I think obviously quiet, isn't he, in a game like that where you sit back. But what was your question, mate? I've just completely lost it.
Yeah, to be honest, I forgot. We moved on to
Pirot. You mentioned Pirot, didn't you? Yeah, I think you've got to look at Farke, but it's 50-50 split for me. Why on earth did we spend nearly 16 million quid on him? I don't understand. Yeah. Never understand that.
Yeah. And this is the thing as well. He did score goals, but even when he scored goals, Mr. Dorder, he was still like people have just shot there about last season. You said James was poor and he scored 14. I still think at times he's poor. That's the thing. It almost is. It's what do they call it? I don't know. A juxtaposition? No, that's probably not the right word. But it is mad because the history tells me last season James did well. But when he went through 1-on-1, I'm going, please, James, please. If that's someone else, I'm going, go on, you're going to score. I was just not convinced by it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean as well, because the percentage of the play that he gets, he should be doing a lot better. And don't get me wrong, 14, whatever James got last season was really good. Yeah. And we all like Dan James. We all like him. But, that technical side to his game just isn't there in abundance. And he might have scored 14 goals last season, but there's a lot of play, and there was a lot of play last season that broke down with Dan James. Like there was, you can look at all the stats from last season, his percentages, his recoveries, his shots on goal that hit the target, his accurate crossing percentage. Like a lot of these stats don't back up Dan James, but he got 14 goals, so he did really well. Pirot got 12 goals, didn't he? But we all turn around and go, he didn't have a great season last season.
He didn't, did he? He didn't.
No, so we can say that, it's not a footballer, isn't always just based on those goals. It's not. It's the all-round package, and I think that's key to note as well. It's not just on goals. So he's been had an incredible season, because then we wouldn't be talking about Pirot, because we'd say, well, with the amount of times he was selected with Daniel Farke, which got sporadic towards the back end of the season, he still scored 12 goals. So he had a really good season last season, but we all know in reality he didn't.
No, 100%. I think, and the mad thing is, I think he's the first to drop out of the forward line with the new signings.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think he has to. It's like almost like save his career at the minute, isn't it? I think his confidence on his arse, isn't it? His confidence is absolutely on its arse, and I feel for him. So that's a managerial thing.
Right, folks. Well, I'm on Connor's going live now, I believe. Straight after this.
2 hours of
2
live.
2 hours, mate. 2 hours. You'll be you're hitting my levels there, mate. Are you all right?
I don't know you do. I don't know you got the capacity for it, mate. To be honest, I've always said
we don't have the capacity.
How long were you live for yesterday on that Sunday thing?
Just about 5 hours.
My
Just,
God, man.
I was dying by the end. I can't lie. Do
Yeah,
you know what though,
okay.
Connor? I enjoy it, man. I enjoy. I enjoy the watch-alongs. I've always. It's my favourite thing, to be honest. We just chat shit. Look at some players are never good enough for some people. Full of shit. You two IQs are on the floor.
Cheers, lad.
Nice.
Wonder why you're here then.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, he wanted to fight me. He said he wants a charity boxing match earlier on. So
For a football opinion, interesting.
Yeah.
Got to question yourself there, haven't you?
Anyway, don't man. He'll be fighting you next. Connor's bigger than me as well, so you might.
Let's go. Send me the address. Let's go. Let's wrestle.
Listen, straight after this, Connor's going to be live. You don't have to change your TV sets or for slander. Don't, man. I can't. I'm not even going to get triggered. I'm not. Straight after this, Connor's going to be live on the Counterpoint discussing all the latest transfer news. You don't have to adjust your TV sets, your YouTubes, your phone. As soon as this ends, you'll just go straight on over. So Connor will see you there in 2, and I'm off for a long lay down. Or maybe I'm going to put some Rocky on and start running upstairs to take on D1715. Who knows, eh? Da-na-na.